Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the sweet spot. How's it going? I want you to take a minute and actually pause and ask yourself that question. How am I really? What's on my heart? What's on my mind? What do I need most today? And then find a way to give it to yourself. It's what choosing you looks and sounds like, right? I hope I am coming in here to answer a question that I got in one of my coaching groups this week. And I'm like, this is such a common question that I get asked that I want to bring it here to the podcast because I know that if I get asked this a lot within my coaching rooms, that it may be something that's on your mind too. She asked me, what if I know what I want? And I know what I want to do and I know what I want to create, but I'm scared. And my current circumstances don't point me in the direction of this dream. This specific human, incredible woman, is working full time and supporting her family. And she wants to start a business, and she actually has a lot of clarity around what she wants to do and how she wants to do it and who she wants to serve. And she's right up against that wall that's trying to push her back into letting things be good enough as they are. And I know that if you're listening to this, maybe you've felt this before, or maybe you're in this season right now too. And I know how visceral this feeling is because I remember when I was making the decision to leave my husband's business. We have built a really large real estate portfolio through flips and rental properties and investing in other projects. And I left corporate and joined him, and we built this business to multi millions, and it was working, and it still is working very, very well. And we started from nothing, and it was a really rewarding journey. It was his passion, and I linked arms with him, and we built something really incredible. And during this is actually when I had my mid-ish life awakening where I'm like, this makes sense on paper. Why am I not happy? Why is this not fulfilling me? And I knew I wanted to leave his business and start something else. I knew I wanted to start my coaching business. And my brain did a really good job of exactly what this client's brain is doing, which is like, can't you just let this be good enough? Can't you just be grateful for what you have? Like, look, everything's fine right now. Let's stay safe and stay put. And then when I told my brain that starting my coaching business was going to mean that I was going to have to put myself out there online in a way that I had never even considered before and do some things that I've never done before, my brain was like, oh, hell no. You're going to stay put right where you are because you doing new things at 37 years old and you putting yourself out there faces the risk of rejection in really big ways. So my brain fought like hell to let what was be good enough. And I stayed in that for a while, like 18 months of really trying to make what was work, really trying to let what was be good enough. But that voice and that nudge inside of me just would not quit. And I'm so thankful for that now. And so when I get asked this question, of course, my first response is like, duh, your brain is going to brain. Your brain is going to try to keep you from doing this new, big, scary thing. But do you know what's scarier to me? Is getting to the end of my life and not having done it. And that thought alone was what got me in front of my phone, and in front of my computer to put myself out there to build this business, which I have now 4 years later built to a fully enrolled client, to a full coaching roster, more money than I could have ever dreamed of, more time and freedom than I ever knew was possible, and alignment that I could have never even imagined. And so I want you to let yourself imagine best case scenario, because your brain is going to fight like hell to go to worst case scenario. Your brain is going to fight like hell to give you all of the reasons why you shouldn't do the scary thing, why you shouldn't change when what you're doing seems to be working. But let me be your evidence. And trust me, I had so many people I was able to look to, thankfully, coaches that I hired also, that were my evidence of what was possible, that were my evidence that I could start over in my late 30s, that were my evidence that I could build a business that could be impactful and also support our life in a really beautiful way, that I could still be the mom that I wanted to be and the wife that I wanted to be while walking in my dream. And so if you are at this crossroad where you have clarity around what you want, and if you don't, that's another conversation, but I'm going to go there in a minute. But if you are at this crossroad where you have clarity around what you want, I want you to get clear on what you're going to have to let go of in order to start walking towards that. Because so often our brain tries to convince us that we don't know what we want. If you are in that place and you think you don't know what you want, we should chat, because I can quickly help you see what you want. But where we really get stopped up is where we make ourselves wrong for what we want, or we forget that we have to be unavailable for what we don't want in order to walk towards what we do. This is so important, you guys. I think that so many of us know exactly what we want. We have our dreams, we've got our vision boards, we've got all of these ideas around where we could go and what we want and what our big goals are. But we forget that in order to walk towards them, we have to be unavailable for what is keeping us where we are. Right? And so we have to start getting clear, like, what limiting beliefs do I have to set down? What do I have to be unavailable for in order to start walking this path towards what I want? I had to be unavailable for other people's opinions. I had to be unavailable for my brain delivering me this fear of judgment. I had to be unavailable for the thought that starting over at 37 was too late. We have to get clear around what beliefs, what circumstances, what relationships are keeping us from what we know we want. Because it's waiting for us. And for so many of us, when we realize that it's not the thing that we're afraid of, the thing that we're walking towards isn't actually what we're afraid of. We're afraid of letting go of what we have to let go of in order to get there. And that's what coaching does. Right? Like I'm going to all these places with this because there's so many places where this upper limit shows up. It's like, in order to reach your next level in your business, in order to reach a new place in your life, you have to be willing to disconnect from what's keeping you where you're at right now. And so my advice to you is go for it. Do it. And surround yourself with the work, with coaches, with humans, with friends, with relationships that support your growth, that support the process from where you are to where you're going. Do the work to clean up your thoughts, clear the doubt. It doesn't happen overnight. Fear and doubt are things that are going to keep showing up. But you get to keep doing the work to clear those so that you can step into what you know is for you. Right? One of my mentors, long-term mentors, Amber Lillystrom, says, if it's in you, it's for you. So your job, your responsibility is to bring it to life, is to become the version of you that is required to bring that to life. And most of the time, that requires you to unbecome the things that you've become in order to keep you where you're at. You have to become unavailable for her. You have to become unattached to the things that are keeping you stuck. But let me be your reminder that this place that you're headed, that is true and honest and in integrity with you. You guys know I talk so much about integrity, because once I realized that me existing out of integrity with myself meant I couldn't be in integrity with anyone else, because as soon as we break integrity with us, we're not showing up as an honest version of ourselves. The version of you that waits on the other side exists in integrity, in alignment with her truest, most authentic self, her purpose, her gifts that are actually meant to make a difference in this world, and whatever that is. You are here for a reason. And I promise you, there's a version of you that waits on the other side of these decisions, on the other side of this path that you're going to start walking, that are like, please, please, please. We don't want to have regrets, right? You hear this all the time. Very rarely do we regret what we did. We only regret what we didn't do. We get to the end of our lives, we don't have a list of things that we regret doing. We have a list of things we wish we would have done. So don't let that win. Don't let those thoughts win. Don't let those fears and doubts win. Because if you have something on your heart, it is for you. If it is in you, it is for you. And it also means that you have been granted the resources to bring it to life, the gifts, the purpose, the innate talents. And when you start walking in this path of alignment, the sky's the freaking limit, you guys. Again, I say this a million times over, and this is not for like bragging rights. This is honest truth. I never could have imagined that what I'm existing in right now was possible for me. But when you walk in a path of alignment, when you are connected to your truth and you are in integrity with yourself, your truest self, your soul's work, the sky is the limit. There are limitless possibilities for you. And so if you're faced with this crossroad of what do I do now? How do I get over this? This is the work. This is the work that we do inside of coaching. This is the work that we do, the inner work that is required to peel back the layers and connect with that version of you that knows in her soul what she's here for. And then you build the courage and you start walking the path. Do the damn thing. You are so worthy of the version of you that exists on the other side of the work that it's going to take to get there. All right. I hope this meets you where you're at. I'm sending you so much love today. I will see you in the next episode.